So welcome to the second Discover Devon film, which is a new show with me, John Tompkins, which I'll be interviewing directors, producers, actors from across the fantastic Devon film scene. And on the show today, I'm interviewing Simeon Costello, who is a producer and documentary maker, and we'll be finding out about his rather interesting new documentary. Right, so welcome to the second show. I'm joined by Simeon Costello. Hello, Simeon. How are you?
Yes, very well. Thank you for having me.
Thanks very much. And one question before we start. Did you get the bus here?
No, I didn't. I got the train today.
But there's a reason for that, audience. We'll come to that in a second. And so Simeon, tell us about yourself. How did you get into the filmmaking world?
Well, I originally started just making silly little short films with my mates and putting them on YouTube and getting no views. And then we decided to start taking it seriously, so writing a few more ambitious scripts and things. So I come mostly from a fiction short film background, producing. So we started making these kind of better quality short films, and then the friends that made these silly little films became the crew, and we just built it up from there, and I've been working on these short films since.
Oh, superb! So you mentioned producing. How did you get into that? Was it?
I never went to film school or anything, so I didn't learn any camera skills or anything like that. And producing kind of seemed, I fitted into it very well. I'm a fairly organised person, get stuff done, so it just felt like the role suited me, and it's what I really wanted to do. And I loved kind of the organisation things and getting things done, and getting to the locations and things and organising a cast and crew. It was what I really enjoyed doing.
Because one of the films I've seen you've done recently, you were up in Dartmoor, I believe.
Yeah, so
which is an interesting place, because also Steven Spielberg went up there with Warhol.
Yeah.
And what was it like filming up in there?
Well, funnily, you mentioned Steven Spielberg. We were at the same location that Warhorse was filmed on.
Wow.
We got the same.
Was it inspiration from seeing the film? Or?
I can't say I've actually seen Warhorse.
Oh, well, really?
But it's up on Great Staple Tor, near Great Staple Tor. And that was a film I wrote with the director Tommy Gillard. It's called Nowhere Place. It's about these two boys that live in a fictional moor that's supposedly haunted. They live in a little village, and each year they join this hunt, and it's kind of, they're starting to grow apart, and they're growing up. They've just finished school. It's their summer holidays before they, go off to college or do whatever they're doing. It's all about kind of growing up and moving on from your hometown and really celebrating kind of small town Devon. Although it's fictional, it is very much replicates Dartmoor and Devon.
Because one thing I admire about that, I think you had the marquee and things up there, was just the logistics of getting a massive crew together on Dartmoor, filming, and then you got the elements, because it's an amazing location. It looks beautiful, but if it rains, the wind, if you're recording actors' sound, how did you deal with that?
Well, we filmed in September, so it was getting a bit chilly, and the shoot that we did on Dartmoor was 24 hours long. So we filmed through the night. Most of the film happens in the early hours of the morning. So there were times when it was absolutely freezing, and we just got people wrapped up in coats and blankets and things. And
plenty of coffee, tea, biscuits.
Yeah, we had a little break for a dinner, and Pavel, our health and safety guy, brought a disposable barbecue, and we had some sausages and things.
No, that's a shoot.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but what do they say about with actors things? As long as you feed them,
as long as you keep them happy. Yeah. I think Finn and Alex, our leads, were definitely close to giving up. They powered through, and they were absolutely great. But one of the problems we had, we filmed in a woods near Coombe Rally, near Honiton, and it was tipping it down. And we didn't have this big marquee. It was quite an enclosed wood, so there wasn't a lot of space. So we had like a tiny little tent with stuff in, and everything was soaked. And it must have been about 10:30 at night, and we weren't getting anywhere. About 3 hours behind schedule, and we just called it a day, and we had to reshoot that day. But yeah, it was an incredible shoot. We had, as you said, this big marquee. We had a 15-member crew. We spent maybe 2 hours back and forth from the cars getting
That's
stuff
fantastic,
up.
but it's worth it. I mean, it's like some films. You think, why did they take so long? Why did it? But the logistics of putting together, but just the shot on screen and how you feel that screen, and just the epic.
I think it was completely worth it. Yeah, definitely.
So you've produced that film and wrote that film, and now you're doing a documentary.
Yeah, moving into documentaries
about a bus trip across the country. So how did you come up with it?
So I came up really initially from the idea of I was coming back from a shoot in Somerset, and I was waiting for a bus connection to Taunton. And I'd missed my bus, so I was there for about an hour and a half, I think. And I was just watching where all the different buses were going. There was one going to Bristol, and I thought, okay, you can get Taunton to Wells to Bristol. You can probably get a bus from Exeter to Taunton. You know, could you do the whole country? And that's where the idea came from. And I never really thought of it as a film idea. I just thought it would be a really cool journey for someone to do.
Aren't they where the best ideas? So I've had that when I'm thinking of the scripts. You're coming back. I think I was at Bristol train station, just stood there, and just this light bulb moment. You think, that's it. Yeah. That's what we do next.
Yeah. So, and then the opportunity came up with the Exeter Phoenix. They commission short film. I think it's 5 short films every year, and one of them they commissioned as a documentary film. And I thought, and then that was that light bulb moment. Oh, this would be a great film. So I applied. I went along to the live pitch. It was in front of a live audience. It was
What was that like? Was that quite nerve-wracking?
It's the first time I've ever done something like that. So I could see, I invited loads of people along, so it's kind of reassuring having my friends and my dad in the audience and stuff. But it was still completely open to the public. Some people I'd never seen before. The other people who pitched that day were there as well. And and then I had to wait a few hours and then they announced the winner in another part of the festival, and I was just kind of shocked. I was like,
well, it must have been that moment. It's like, I won?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I just had my dad and my girlfriend next to me, and they're just looking at me like waiting for a reaction. This is incredible. So the idea is initially the idea is travelling from John O'Groats to Land's End on local buses. So not using any coaches, not using any trains. And then there's kind of an element to it of why these buses are so important to people. So it's really kind of finding out why people need the UK buses. Some of these routes are like, they run like Monday to Friday, no weekends. It's what people really rely to get to work and do their shopping and stuff. And there's some services that are becoming really limited. So I want to kind of know why people need to use these buses, because for some people it's the only mode of transport for them.
Definitely. They're going into town to get their shopping, and the local shop is like 10 miles away. That's the only shop.
Yeah, literally.
In the town or village.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to make it, is to find out really about the people.
But that's a really interesting angle, especially for an audience, because you want to bring that audience on board, especially as it's like a narrative film. We look at a narrative film. You've written a script. You know where it's going, but with this, it might go smoothly. It might not go smoothly.
Yeah,
it's an adventure, and that's
and I mean it could easily all go south. No pun intended. Because I could miss a connection, it could delay the whole day, But really, it's all going to be worthwhile because I'm meeting these people, just talking to everyone. If I'm stranded at some random bus station in Scotland for an hour, there's going to be people to talk to. I'm going to really find out about these people.
So, are you going on your own? Are you taking a team with you to support you?
I'm taking a one-man team. My friend Scott Stevens, who's a cinematographer, he worked on Nowhere Place with me. He's directed another film we're working on. Great camera guy, great dude, someone that I'm not going to murder for 5 days.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you're like 2 hours waiting for a bus, and it's like, so Simeon, are you okay? No.
Yeah. And he's great. Scott's absolutely great, and so just the two of us go, and he's primarily going to be filming.
Superb.
I'm kind of presenting, and and it's going to be
But
great.
what an adventure.
Yeah.
You'll have to definitely come back on the show later on to tell the audience
Yeah,
how it went on,
I'd love to let you guys know about it.
how much you've aged through the journey.
Yeah, come back grey hairs.
So that's happening. Well, when have you got to have the film finished by?
So the film premieres at Exeter Phoenix's Two Short Nights Festival in December. It's the first weekend of December. So the film's kind of got to be finished by
That's
September,
it.
November
At least you've got
time.
something to aim, because I've seen some local films, they seem to go on forever. But
Yeah.
at least you, that is the premiere.
We're probably in about 6, 7, probably about 8 months of post-production for Nowhere Place now. But I've really got a limited time to get this one done.
But that's fantastic. So
Pressure's on.
So some of us, great to have you on the show. This is your plug moment. I did this for the last show. Plug away. Anything you want to tell? Where can we find about Simeon Costello?
Primarily the kind of updates of how I'm going to be going, how everything's doing is on my Twitter, which is my name, Simeon Costello. But you can also find out through my website, www.simeoncostello.com. And hopefully soon we'll be launching a Kickstarter, so you should find out more about that.
We'll
when
tell
it's
you all
done.
about that. So.
Yeah.
Right, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Have a good travel home. Obviously, using the train. That's
Yeah, a bit quicker.
A bit quicker than the bus, but thanks very much. See you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.